Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 139. I will accept atonement for myself. Paragraph 1. Here is the end of choice. In this acceptance of the atonement, all choice ends completely. For here we come to a decision to accept ourselves as God created us. Can you imagine? When we decide to accept the atonement for ourselves, now we have aligned ourselves with God. Now we're no longer trying to be what we're not. Now we have accepted that we are as God created us. And what we begin to discover is that God created us to be happy, to be the light, to be joyful, to be co-creators, to imagine and desire and want things and want to have a life experience. You know, this is the place where things get really magical. And so few people come to this place right here, right now, where we are, lesson 139. We have been created to be blissful beings. We've been created to be on this planet and enjoy everything that is on it. It is not an illusion that we are appearing to be separate. It is not an illusion that we have a beautiful planet with everything that we could possibly ever want or need on it. None of those things are illusions. But what is an illusion is that we're separate from one another. And when you begin to recognize our oneness, when you begin to recognize that there's nothing we should be fighting each other for. We don't need to be codependent. We don't need to get our value, our joy, our happiness from anybody else. That it is all sufficiently inside of us. But we have to accept the atonement. That means we have to let ourselves be what we are. We got to stop striving for something outside of ourselves. We got to know that it is all already inside of us. So our mind is being conditioned to return to the abundance within. Abundance of joy, of happiness, and actually financial abundance, because this planet, this universe is full of abundance. Why? Because there is nothing that cannot be created. There is nothing that cannot be brought into our experience. But our mind has been conditioned to believe that things come to us from the outside. And so when we're looking for something outside of ourselves, we believe that there's not enough. We believe in separation. We believe in competition. We believe in all of the things that cause our suffering. So I invite you to enter into this lesson with a willingness to receive the gift that this lesson offers us, which is the freedom from the mind-made prison that we have created, freedom from believing that we're separate and finite and small and insignificant and fighting one another for our good. This lesson is an invitation to own our worthiness as God created it, our wholeness, because when you own your wholeness, then you can begin to create, to project the life experience you want to have. This is amazing. Let me start again. Paragraph 1, here is the end of choice when we accept the atonement for ourselves. For here we come to a decision to accept ourselves as God created us. And what is choice except uncertainty of what we are? There is no doubt that is not rooted here. When you're choosing, you're trying to pick the best one. Well, obviously that creates conflict because you don't want to make the wrong choice. There is no question but reflects this one. There is no conflict that does not entail the simple question, what am I? Paragraph 2, Yet who could ask this question except one who has refused to recognize himself or herself? So when we're wanting to know who am I, which is what this journey is all about, is because we have been refusing to recognize the truth of who we already are. Only refusal to accept yourself could make the question seem to be sincere. The only thing that can be surely known by any living thing is what it is. From this one point of certainty, it looks on other things as certain as itself. The cows are not wondering, who am I? The horses are not wondering, who am I? The elephants are not wondering, who am I? Nor are the tulips or the clouds or the trees or the blades of grass. Only humans want to know, who am I? Why? And we only ask that when we become older. When we're little, we don't ask, who am I? We know who we are. until we begin to become labeled. Oh, you're just Laina. There's your name. This is your ethnicity. You are Latin. You are Catholic. You are well-to-do. You are not well-to-do. You are rich. You are poor. You're black. You're white. Once we begin to be told what we are by the outer world, we begin to forget what we are as God created it. All right, paragraph 3. Uncertainty about what you must be is self-deception on a scale so vast, its magnitude can hardly be conceived. To be alive and not know yourself is to believe that you are really dead. Do you realize that most of us, well, every single one of us until we wake up, we are the walking dead? We are dead inside. We're walking around, going to jobs, running our household, keeping up with a to-do list, acquiring things to become somebody, but we're dead inside. We've disconnected with that desire to experience life fully. We're so busy with what we have to do because we were told it's what we have to do to be somebody, because we don't know what we are. So we got to be the doctor, we got to be the attorney, we got to be the retiree, the teacher, the mother, the spouse, the whatever. We really are walking around appearing to be alive, but with such a numbness, we're desensitized to all the richness that can only be felt when you feel God inside. And we call that being alive. It's insane that we've done that. Paragraph 3, sentence 3. For what is life except to be yourself? And what but can you be alive instead? For what is life except to be yourself? And what but can you be alive instead? Who is the doubter? What is it he doubts? Whom does he question? Who can answer him? Paragraph 4. He merely states that he is not himself, and therefore being something else becomes a questioner of what that something is. Yet he could never be alive at all unless he knew the answer. We cannot feel the aliveness of God inside of us if we're not hearing God inside of us, because that's what propels us with desires, with ideas, with things that are fresh and new and in the moment that have never been. It's where creation happens. But we're so numb and so desensitized to what makes us happy because we've been taught and conditioned to chase for it outside of ourselves. It's the next thing that we acquire that will make us somebody, that will get us there. So insane. Sentence number 3 in paragraph 4. If he asks as if he does not know, it merely shows he does not want to be the thing he is. He has accepted it because he lives, has judged against it and denied its worth, and has decided that he does not know the only certainty by which he lives. We are alive because God created us, and our purpose is to be happy. We are supposed to have our imagination be unobstructed so that we can desire things, so that we can desire, because giving and receiving are one. We are supposed to give of our song, give of our poetry, give of our book, give of our ideas, give of our processes, give of our talents, our song playing, our gardening, or whatever it is, our cooking, whatever it is, mothering that we love to do. As we give of that, we receive the joy of it. And yes, compensation happens. We compensate each other for the things that we each feel that we're receiving from one another. When we're all healthy and know that this is being done because it's our purpose, it's what we're here for, it's so enjoyable. We all get along. It's okay for some to make more money and some to make less money, and some to have original artwork and some to buy reproduction only. It's okay for that to happen. We were not designed to everything be exactly the same. But when you are doing whatever you're doing, being a CEO of a company or being the person who sweeps the floors at that company, and you do it from a place of knowing what you are, you do it fully, you're playing a role inside of the movie that the whole world is participating in. From that perspective, there's nothing lacking. There's only the giving of our whole self. You feel fulfilled because you are filled, you're full with God inside, with aliveness inside. This world is suffering so much because we don't know who we are, and we think that by acquiring, by getting, by controlling, by segregating, that somehow that makes us somebody. But it's what keeps us dead inside. It keeps us from being sensitive to one another, from sensing the truth that is within ourselves. Paragraph 5. Thus he becomes uncertain of his life, for what it is has been denied by him. We each deny our joy by our choice. Albeit when we were little, we got conditioned. But when you begin to be aware that you are as God created you and you are perfect, if you heard this one time, now you know you have another choice. And your job is to choose what you are in truth and then to accept your atonement. Because when you accept the atonement, you come to know that you are at one with God. So, how many times does it take us to repeat these lessons over and over and over and over again? Because this is a simple process, but it's not easy because of the repetitive conditioning that we have received. So we have to go through this process many times. So it is for this denial that you need atonement. We're denying who we are. It is for this denial that we need atonement. Your denial made no change in what you are. Just because we put on a Halloween costume did not change who we are. But if we focus on the costume, we're denying what we are. But you have split your mind into what knows and does not know the truth. We have a split mind. The ego mind that doesn't know the truth and is striving and getting and looking outside of us for our sense of worth outside of ourselves. And then there's a part of our mind that knows. That part of our mind is the Holy Spirit that we hear. It's that intuition. It's that inspiration. It's that voice for God inside of us. You are yourself. You cannot be anything other than what you are. There is no doubt about this because it's how God created it, and yet you doubt it. But you do not ask what part of you can really doubt yourself. We don't question our thoughts until we begin to question our thoughts. It cannot really be a part of you that asks this question. The part that doubts cannot be really part of us, because the part of us that knows, my child, when they put on the witch's costume, they knew that they were putting on a witch's costume. So she was pretending to be a witch. So there was no doubt for her about that. But in the moment that she got caught up inside of that witch's identity, she was denying her true identity as Lauren. And she got lost inside of pretending to be the witch and scaring people or being chased by somebody because she was a witch or whatever it was. All in fun, obviously, because they were kids playing. But she never ceased to be Lauren. She just was pretending to be a witch. We never ceased to be how God created us, alive and whole and perfect and complete. We just begin to pretend to believe that we need to do something to become whole, that we need to acquire something to make us feel happy, that we need to search outside of ourselves for the goodness. So we got these two aspects to ourselves. Those thoughts and conditioning to look outside of ourselves to become somebody makes us dead inside because it denies the aliveness that is already there. We can't feel the aliveness while we're chasing it for it outside of ourselves. So let me say this again. Let me repeat this. But do you not ask what part of you can really doubt yourself? Who questions? Why do I keep chasing this stuff? It cannot really be a part of you that asks this question. That the one who's going to want to know what happened to me here is not really a part of us. It's our ego mind it's the part of ourselves that's beginning to wake up, and it's always going to be our ego. That's why our ego becomes spiritualized before it becomes undone. For it asks for one who knows the answer. So there is a part of us that gets tired of the chase that eventually begins to want to hear what the truth is inside of us. Were it part of you, then certainty would be impossible. So was doubt a part of who we are? We could never be certain of the truth of who we are. Those two things cannot coexist. Paragraph 6, atonement remedies the strange idea that it is possible to doubt yourself and be unsure of what you really are. This is the depth of madness. This is the universal question of the world. What does this mean except the world is mad? Why share its madness in the sad belief that what is universal here is true? That is a sad belief, that it's okay to doubt ourselves, that it's okay to seek to become something. That's insanity. Paragraph 7. Nothing the world believes is true. It is a place whose purpose is to be a home where those who claim they do not know themselves can come to question what it is that they are. So pay attention to that. That statement is powerful. Nothing the world believes is true. It is a place whose purpose it is to be a home where those who claim they do not know themselves can come to question what it is they are. Every single time that we incarnate and we come to this world and we get sucked into the illusion that we're separate, is because we are searching for the truth of who we are. We get sucked into a belief in separation, and something inside of us knows that doesn't make sense. That's not true. So then we begin the quest to search for what we really are. And we're waking up to get to know the truth of who we are, accept the atonement, and then the world of illusion will disappear. What will remain is the kingdom of heaven that we all get to enjoy and benefit from in co-creation and cooperation, in a joyful way. Peace on earth, by the way. Paragraph 7, still sentence 3. And they will come again until the time atonement is accepted, and they learn it is impossible to doubt yourself and not to be aware of what you are. So we're going to keep reincarnating, coming again to this world, being born into unconscious parents who teach us to chase for our truth outside of ourselves. But the world is shifting. We're in the midst of a shift in consciousness right now. We are shifting to recognize that it is time to stop the illusion. It's time to stop the madness and come back to the truth of who we are and accept the atonement and know that we are as God created us. Can't you feel the excitement in the world today? Yes, it appears that things are crumbling and they are really insane. It's just bringing up to the surface the insanity so we can begin to see that there are two ways of looking at things. One from love and one from fear. And those who are seeing it from love are more peaceful, are more balanced, and they're becoming an example. That's why we have so many teachers that are becoming famous New York Times bestsellers, that are becoming well known, like the Eckhart Tolles and the Wayne Dyers of the world and Marianne Williamson. We're beginning to see, hey, there's another way than the old religious way, or the old government way, and we're beginning to compare. This one talks about love, and this one instills fear and control. So we're beginning to see at a much higher level of awareness now that there are two choices. And the Course is telling us, once you become aware of those two choices, eventually you make the choiceless choice to accept what you are, which is the presence of love. That's what this is leading to, and this is very exciting. Paragraph 8. Only acceptance can be asked of you. That's all that God is wanting us to do, is just to accept. For what you are is certain. God knows what we are, and God is just waiting for us to accept what we are. God is not dabbling in our nonsense and is not trying to get us to change our mind. God is just wanting us to accept what we are. We have to change our mind. Paragraph 8, sentence 2. It is set forever in the holy mind of God and in your own. God knows the truth of who we are, and it's inside of us also. It's in our mind. It is so far beyond all doubt and question that to ask what it must be is all the proof you need to show that you believe the contradiction, that you know not what you cannot fail to know. Isn't that insane? Is this a question or a statement which denies itself in statement? Is this a question or a statement which denies itself in statement? When we ask, who am I? It says we're declaring a statement that is having us doubt who we truly are. It's incredible. Let us not allow our holy minds to occupy themselves with senseless musings such as this. Don't question who you are. At this lesson that we are at now, you know who you are. You know you are as God created you. You know you are the light of the world. You know you are the presence of love, joy, peace, and abundance is in you. You are wellness. You are the pure essence of what is good and unlimited. You are the energy of creativity, the energy of everything that is wonderful. You are life itself. You shouldn't have to ask, what am I? You should know it by now. Now we're being invited to accept it. Isn't that sweet? Just accept what we are, which means we have to trust the truth. Paragraph 9. We have a mission here. We did not come to reinforce the madness that we once once believed in. Let us not forget the goal that we accepted. It is more than just our happiness alone we came to gain. What we accept as what we are proclaims what everyone must be along with us. Fail not your brothers, or you fail yourself. Look lovingly on them, that they may know that they are part of you and you of them. Because when we begin to accept the truth of who we are, the atonement says we're all the same. We're all one energy. We're individualized aspects of the whole. Just as our body has different cells, but we call ourselves one body, and we don't treat, oh, there's a shoulder cell, let me get rid of that one, or let me give the shoulder cell more nourishment than my knee cell. We don't do that to our physical body. We don't do that. However, we do that to our human body, to humanity, the humanity body. We say this one deserves to be fed and this one doesn't. These people over there in Africa can starve, but this 1% up here in the upper echelons of society, they deserve to have the servants and the best of the food. God didn't create us to be separate like that. God created us to help and take care of one another. So we are being asked to acknowledge that the truth of me is also the truth of you, so that we can begin to see each other as the sonship that we are, the brothers and sisters that we are in Christ. Isn't this beautiful to know? Paragraph 10. This does atonement teach and demonstrates the oneness of God's Son is unassailed by his belief he knows not what he is. Just because we're denying the truth of who we are does not change the truth that God has created us so. We can deny our oneness all we want, but one we are because we're all made of the same energy. Today, accept atonement, not to change reality, but merely to accept the truth about yourself and go your way rejoicing in the endless love of God. Because when you come to love who you are, you're not going to want to give up. Feeling, giving, and receiving love, because as you love everybody else, you feel, you receive the joy that love is all about, the energy of love flowing through you. It's addictive. You want to feel it. You want to experience it. It's amazing what happens when you let yourself know the truth of who you are. We're love. It is but this that we are asked to do. It is but this that we will do today. Paragraph 11. 5 minutes in the morning and at night we will devote to dedicate our minds to our assignment for today. 5 little minutes. Oh my gosh, amazing. Twice a day. We start with this review of what our mission is. I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. Sentence 4 in paragraph 11. We have not lost the knowledge that God gave to us when he created us like him. We haven't lost that knowledge. It's inside of us. We can remember it for everyone, for in creation are all minds as one. We all share one same freaking energy. And we have created this idea, this mental construct that because I have a separate body, I'm separate from you. But if we get down to the heart of it, if we ask everybody, what do you want more than anything? We all want to feel love, joy, and peace. We want to feel safe. We want to feel cared for. We want to feel fed. We all want the same thing. Why? Because inside of us is a desire for what is already true within us. We want to experience what we already are. That's why we desire it. It's our truth that is calling us back. That's why we want it. And in our memory is a recall how dear our brother and sisters are to us in truth, how much a part of us is every mind, how faithful they have really been to us, and how our Father's love contains them all. We are in the mind of God. We all exist inside of one energy field, and every single one of us, no matter how much we want to call ourselves separate, are sharing the same energy. The same energy is infused with the same truth. It's infused with the same love. It's infused with the same abundance, the same joy, the same peace. All we need to do is accept it. Claim it. Yes, it is mine. Isn't this amazing that Jesus is spending all this time, all this effort, 365 lessons to convince us that we are loved, that we are already perfect and complete? Isn't this wild? This whole journey is an acceptance of our deliciousness, of our magnificence. Paragraph 12. And thanks for all creation, In the name of its creator and his oneness with all aspects of creation, we repeat our dedication to our cause today, each hour, as we lay aside all thoughts that would distract us from our holy aim. Isn't that beautiful? And thanks to God for creating us eternal, for creating us whole and complete. We're going to repeat this dedication. Once an hour, that's it. For several minutes, let your mind be clear of all the foolish excuse me. Oh my gosh, I am blessed indeed. For several minutes, let your mind be cleared of all the foolish cobwebs which the world would weave around the Holy Son of God. All of those beliefs, conditionings, ideas that we've been taught that we're less than, that we're different, that we're sinful, that we're better and good and not so good and right and wrong, all of that duality, it has created all of these cobwebs in our mind, has filled our mind with blockages to the truth of who we are. For several minutes today, let your mind be clear. Go into that quiet and in stillness. Look at all these lessons that we've been doing. It's about stilling our mind, getting quiet, realizing that we got to go inside. In that stillness, we will hear God's voice. Why? Because God is calling us home. The insanity, it has to end. The game is over. The game of hiding our divinity and seeking for it has come to an end. We've got to claim that we have already found what was never ever lost. Hidden right there in plain sight, right here. And learn the fragile nature of the chains that seem to keep the knowledge of yourself apart from your awareness. As you say, I will accept atonement for myself, for I remain as God created me. Listen to this. And learn the fragile nature of the chains that seem to keep the knowledge of yourself apart from your awareness. The belief that I'm not good enough is a fragile chain. If you string together, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, my love comes from outside of me, money makes me somebody, my safety lies in the government, all of those are links, beliefs that link up to a chain. That the chain is so fragile if you decide not to believe it. I'm not going to believe that anymore. It breaks open the chain. It frees you from the bondage of believing something that is not true. We're supposed to accept the atonement. The atonement is, I am as God created me. Isn't this beautiful and wonderful? I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope that you are really letting yourself receive the magnificence of the truth that is contained within every one of these lessons. It's time for us to wake up, because when we wake up, we become kinder, loving, gentler people. Ideas, creativity for how to make the world a better place begin to flow through us. We become instruments of God's peace. We become willing vessels for the betterment of everybody involved, because when we know that we want to give the good because we want to receive the good, because we're always giving it to ourselves. Everybody is our brothers and sisters. The truth of our oneness is registering with us. Our job is to not let the beliefs that say otherwise continue to deny what has always been true, will always be true. If you don't want to accept that in this lifetime, don't worry, you'll come again. As it says, you'll come again and you'll have another chance to choose again. Love over fear, truth over illusion. Have a magnificent day. Bye-bye.